It's v.h.s.x. What do you mean?
Alright everybody, welcome back to a brand new video. Today I wanted to have a discussion about Otz playing Ghostface. As a Ghostface main myself, I thought it'd be fun to kind of see if there's anything that can be learned from watching people with like loads of hours playing a character that they probably don't necessarily main. So let's go ahead and get into it. So as you can see from the build here, he actually has the crouching add-on. So one add-on, actually I was gonna say they were green add-ons, but they're not. They're actually currently blue now. But basically, you have one add-on on Ghostface that gives you a reduced tear radius by I think 12 meters. It gets reduced when you crouch, and then the crouching speed increases by 10% when using those add-ons. Right off the bat, very strong stalk. Very, very good to 99 the survivors. You always want to 99 the survivors. Now notice where his distance is at. He spots the survivor right here going towards the gen. He knows that he's not gotten spotted yet. So what does he do? He goes up here to where this truck is at. And then what he does is that he goes in, right? He goes ahead and starts leaning off. The survivor's unaware and gets 99. Now, obviously, there's a key point here. He does not mark him. That's the key there. You 99 him, you get back in cover before somebody notices, and then you'll have somebody ready to go when you close the gap. Very key and important parts of it. So that right there was just Ghostface. His reveal mechanics are a little bit buggy. Can't really blame Otz for that. Can't really blame but you can't really blame Otz for a reveal like this. We know that this is a common issue with Ghostface. You could be completely behind walls, you could be completely in cover, you could be crouched behind a wall, you will still get revealed regardless for whatever reason. I'm not entirely sure why. Now in terms of the build, because I want to touch on this, I do think that the build is decent. Ruin and Surveillance has very good synergy, and Undying is also to protect Ruin. Completely makes sense. I would disagree with Nurse's Calling though. I do think that the value of Nurse's Calling really does not apply that often when it comes to a character like Ghostface, especially because of the fact that it is within 28 meters and healing speed is also just on base kit extremely quickly. Is very quick, so obviously you're not going to get the most value. I would say I think you're most likely not going to see any auras depending on your opponents usually, or the size of the maps, which obviously we can't even run map offerings anymore because it is only a 20% chance to even get to that map in the first place. Therefore not worth it in my opinion. Now I will say though, another addition that I would have mentioned, that Nurse's Calling could have been swapped out for Monitor and Abuse, because you are already having a 24 meter tear radius. You're reducing it additionally by 12, and then you add on the Monitor and Abuse for an additional 8, so you can actually have about a 4 meter tear radius when crouched, which could really help out because Ghostface does still have an extremely long cooldown for, you know, for his ability, which already as it is you get revealed through walls and things like that. I would honestly hope that they maybe will fix that in the future. The revealing it is one of the biggest problems with Ghostface currently. I think it has not been fixed, I think, for a very long time. I really don't know if they ever will, but obviously because the revealing is so buggy, your cooldown is also at like 17 seconds, so you really need to be able to maintain some kind of stealth in between those sort of long cooldowns and things like that. Sometimes it's better to not even use your ability when you have these two add-ons. And trying to reduce your tear radius down would be one of the better things to do about that. Now, obviously, if you are playing Ghostface to more focus on ambushing and trying to catch people off guard, this would make a lot of sense. This is something that you really would want to do, especially because of those downsides that you have to take into account, as well as the fact that he does not have any chase ability, anything at all to help you out in chase besides trying to get up close and trying to get a one-shot down, whether they're injured or whether they're exposed with your abilities. So that makes complete sense. With the Ghostface revealing mechanic also as well, there isn't like an infinite sort of like reveal sound bug in the game current. Like, I don't know if it still is in the game, but at the time that Odds had streamed this gameplay, for some reason it just would last super long. Even if you're out of sight, whatever have you, the sound will just keep going and going and going. And hopefully they'll fix it, but that is also another part of it, as well as the fact that it delays your reveal by so much, and then you still lose your power regardless. Definitely not great, unfortunately, but that has nothing to do with, you know, the player. Is pretty much just another bug from DVD. I have to say that was one of the one of the best ways to play Ghostface in that situation. Playing around the shack, waiting for your cooldown. That is the best way to do it. Do not waste your stalking. Stalking is one of the most important aspects of Ghostface, considering the fact that he does not have much in his kit. You definitely want to be able to get as many marks as you can to make things a lot easier for you, because 2 hits on Ghostface will cost you a lot more time than just one single expose hit. Especially with, and then that also leans into the importance of stalking, getting those marked down, stuff like that. Very important. You want to be able to focus on that. So once again, fantastic display from Odds. Definitely something that we can learn from as well if you are starting out with Ghostface. I have to point out that that is a very smart thing that Odds is doing, and this is something that you can apply to a lot of your games when you are playing as Ghostface. There are a lot of gaps in different areas that you could try to look through and lean on, especially with the shack windows that have the boards on them and stuff like that, and other areas like that, to be able to gain the little extra bit of stalk that you need in order to gain the advantage. Because with a character like this, you're going to need to try to get as much as you can when you're trying to you know, sort of balance the scales more into your favor, or at least to equalize the playing field, because with a character like this, he really does not have much. So with something like this, very important, very key, and I'm pointing it out because it is something to take note of, and it is something that as you continue to play the character and as you continue to you know, sort of observe maps and things like that, you'll be able to see more and more spots and things like that that can allow you to gain just a little bit more stalking, which really could make the difference between a down and not. I also wanted to drop in and kind of point out the builds here. Like, I think this was fairly recent besides like the current patch. As you can see here, we have some very strong builds. These are definitely builds that I find myself going up against when I've played a lot, like when I play Ghostface. You know, we have Unbreakable, Hope, and Off the Record, and Iron Will. That makes complete sense. The next person has Windows of Opportunity, Balanced Landing, Desperate Measures, and Botany, which I know Botany had gotten buffed. So I think that's actually an additional 60 or 70% in total, because of the Desperate Measures gives you about, I think, is it 10 or 14% depending on who's injured and who's hooked. And they also bring a syringe. This person here has Desperate, what am I saying Desperate Measures for? It's Hyper Focus and Stakeout with Deja Vu and a perk to find items in chests with a Commodious. And finally, they have Live, Blast Mine, and Resurgence, which you know Resurgence has gotten buffed recently as well. So these are definitely very strong builds, and it really goes to show sort of the power level that people can really bring. But anyway, appreciate you guys for watching up to this point. If you want to watch the original video, it'll be linked in the description. And let me know if you learned anything in this video about playing Ghostface better. Maybe if you're new to the game, this could be at least a way to kind of get a couple of tips from somebody who is very experienced with the game, but maybe isn't a Ghostface main per se, but still was able to play extremely well, I would say. And I wanted to point out a couple of good things that Odds has done, so we can actually use that as a way to help others that are trying to learn the character as well. But with that being said, once again, leave a like, comment, subscribe to the YouTube things. Check out the links in the description to support the channel. Consider following on Twitch to watch me play Go live, and joining the Discord to join the community and talk about different topics. But with that being said, appreciate you guys. See you guys in the next one.